Have you ever been in a really chaotic room? Maybe a classroom full of kids just chattering away, energy buzzing everywhere. And then someone sits down, gets ready to tell a story, and with just four simple words, a sudden, almost magical silence just falls. Well, that's the power we're going to dig into. So, let's really get into this question. This phrase, once upon a time, it's been used for thousands of years in pretty much every culture you can think of. When we hear it, it's like we're tapping into something ancient and true inside of us, a part that's just wired to respond to the promise of a story. It's like we're instantly transported to a comfy chair by a warm, crackling fire, just ready to listen.
So in this explainer, we're going to look at the power of that phrase, see how stories connect us all, map out the famous hero's journey, look at the story in the mirror, and then we're going to turn it back and ask, what is your story?
Okay, so let's start with that initial magic, right? The incredible ability of a story's beginning to command our complete and total attention.
This isn't just some classroom trick. It's a really deep, fundamental human response. Those words, they signal a shift from all the noise of the outside world to the focus of our inner world. It's an invitation to just be, to stop doing, and to listen to a story that, in some weird way, feels like it's already a part of us.
Stories are, when you get right down to it, the currency of human connection. They're the bridges that can forge this unbreakable bond between two friends, and they're the threads that can weave through centuries of history, linking ideas and movements in a really powerful chain.
Okay, take this incredible story. Art Garfunkel's best friend in college, Sandy, started losing his sight to glaucoma and just fell into this deep, dark depression. But Art refused to let him give up. He flew to his side, walked him around campus, and to really show his empathy, he started calling himself Darkness. He'd say things like, "Darkness is going to read to you now."
And this just brilliantly shows the transformative power of that story. See, the act of giving to his friend didn't just help Sandy. It fundamentally shaped Art Garfunkel's own identity. Their shared story, their friendship and support, it became a core part of who he was.
Now, what's really fascinating is how that same power just scales up. A narrative doesn't just bind two friends together. It can bind entire generations. Let's take a look at how one powerful idea rippled through history to literally change the world.
Think about the story of nonviolence. It starts centuries ago with Lord Mahavira and this Jain concept of ahimsa, which basically means non-injury. That idea gets passed to a philosopher, Srimad Raj Chandra, who then becomes a spiritual guide to Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi then uses this narrative to shape a movement that frees an entire nation. And then, inspired by Gandhi's story, Martin Luther King Jr. adopts it to lead the American civil rights movement. It's one single powerful story, just rippling across centuries and continents, changing everything.
So, if stories are bridges that connect us, they're also maps that can guide us. Ancient myths, it turns out, provide a kind of universal blueprint for our own adventures and transformations, a pattern we now call the hero's journey.
This guy, the mythologist Joseph Campbell, spent his entire life studying the myths of civilizations all over the world. And what he found was this recurring pattern, this monomyth. He saw that all stories, from ancient legends to modern blockbusters, are really telling one essential story about the journey of the human spirit.
And if you want to know just how influential this is, look no further than Star Wars. George Lucas was a huge admirer of Campbell's work and used it as the direct framework for his films. He even called Campbell "my Yoda." Pretty wild, right? The master storyteller found his own master in the wisdom of these ancient myths.
The journey is actually pretty simple in its structure, but it's so profound in its meaning. It always starts with a call to adventure, something that pulls the hero from their normal life. Then comes a whole series of trials and challenges that test them to their absolute core. And finally, the hero returns. But they're not the person they were before. They're transformed and they bring back some gift or wisdom for their entire community. This is the blueprint for Luke Skywalker, and guess what? It's the blueprint for us too.
Okay, so we've seen stories as bridges and maps. Now let's look at stories as mirrors. Simple fables, the kind that have been told for centuries, have this incredible ability to reflect our own internal landscapes, our perspectives, our conflicts, and our potential.
These stories are really designed to be thought about, to be pondered. They aren't just for kids. They are compact little tools for self-awareness that can reveal these hidden truths about how we see the world and how we see ourselves.
Take this famous Cherokee parable. An old man tells his grandson that there's this terrible fight going on inside him, a fight between two wolves. One wolf is evil. It's anger, greed, ego, lies. The other wolf is good. It's joy, love, hope, and truth. And then he tells the boy, the same fight is going on inside you and inside every other person too.
So the grandson thinks about that for a minute, and then he asks the only question that really matters, right? Which one wins the fight?
And the grandfather's reply is just so simple, so direct, and so powerful. It's not about which wolf is stronger. It's about which one you choose to nourish. The story is a mirror for our own incredible power of choice.
And you see this kind of wisdom in other fables too. The story of the frog in the well, it's such a great metaphor for our limited perspectives, how we can mistake our own tiny little world for the entire universe. And the three blind men and the elephant. That's a timeless reminder that our personal experience, while it's true for us, is often just one tiny piece of a much, much larger puzzle.
And this brings us to the final, and honestly, the most important part of our journey. After seeing the power stories have to connect us, to guide us, and to reflect us, the question has to turn inward.
And this is the ultimate point, isn't it? Every myth, every fable, every grand historical narrative, they all point back to this one essential truth. These stories aren't just out there, they are in here. Every single one of us is living a story.
So, the crucial point is really this. Stories are the fundamental operating system of humanity. They're the bridge that builds our empathy, the map that guides our journey of growth, and the mirror that reveals our truest self. They aren't just something we consume, they are who we are. And that leaves us with one last essential question. The fight between your two wolves, the hero's journey you're on right now, the connections you're building. What is the story you are telling with your life? Which wolf are you feeding?